Hey everybody, what is going on? Welcome back to the Lawn Mentor channel. Today we are going to take a look at how to sharpen your lawnmower blades. It's a simple task that's really easy once you dive in and get used to it. And I'll give you some tips along the way to hopefully make it easier and a more enjoyable experience for you. Today we're going to be sharpening the lawnmower blade on my Toro Super Recycler. This is a pretty standard procedure for all of the push mowers that you probably deal with, and it's going to be very similar to the push mower that you have at home too. From a safety perspective, one of the first things we want to do when we get started with this is take off that spark plug wire from the spark plug. That'll make sure that we don't have any accidental starts and that we have all of our fingers by the time we're done with this. If your lawnmower is a Toro or it has this mow and stow feature on this Briggs & Stratton engine that's on here, you'll have the ability to safely tip your mower back, and this will give you some really easy access to the blade and underneath the deck. Check your owner's manual and see if you have this feature, and if you don't, figure out how you can expose underneath the deck so that you can get at the blade safely without doing any harm to your engine. One of the first tips I'll pass on to you guys is a tool that can make this job really easy. I have the Ryobi line of tools here, and I have their impact driver. The impact driver makes it really easy getting these bolts that hold these blades on and off of these lawnmowers, and honestly for me is a game changer in helping to make it easier to do this more often. You want to go ahead and find the socket that fits the bolt on the bottom of your lawnmower. For me it's a 5/8 size socket. Go ahead, attach that to your impact gun, and we can come back to the bottom of the mower, and you're going to go ahead and loosen the bolt that is on the spindle which holds the blade in place. It's really helpful to have one of these impact guns because, as you can see, sometimes when you get these mowers from the factory or from somebody else, if you bought it used, they may way over tighten this bolt, and it's darn near impossible to get off manually. I like to put the bolt back in the bottom of the lawnmower so that I don't lose it. Take a look at your blade and check for any hard nicks or scrapes or scuffs or anything that might warrant a replacing. This blade looks pretty good. It's the original blade that came with the lawnmower. This is a relatively new lawnmower to me, and so we're just going to go ahead and put a nice sharp edge on this today. One of the things you don't want to forget is personal protective equipment. Make sure you're wearing safety glasses while you're doing this so that you're safe and you don't hurt your eyes. Today, the tool we're going to be using is an angle grinder with a flap disc to sharpen this blade. I just got this angle grinder real cheap from Hobo Freight, and I think I also got the flap disc from there too. I had another disc on there from a different project I was doing, but this is the one we'll be using today. It's an 80 grit flap disc, and my angle grinder is 4.5 inches. So this is the proper flap disc. You'll see it's much different than a metal grinding disc. It's more forgiving and makes it easier for you to get the proper angle on your blade when you're sharpening it. Go ahead and just detach that. If you're having some trouble, you can use your bench like I am here to help loosen that if you want to keep your fingers out of the way while you're taking that washer or nut off. Then just go ahead and install your flap disc right onto your angle grinder per your manual. Tighten that down, and we should be in a good spot to get started here. Feel free to take a few practice strokes before you turn the angle grinder on, but once you do, you want to go ahead and I would suggest just doing one single pass and then inspecting the pass that you've done on that blade. You'll see that the freshly sharpened part of the blade is much shinier than the rest, and if your blade looks like this means that you may not be holding the angle grinder at the proper angle against the blade. You want to go ahead and maintain or keep that factory edge, and you'll see right here where my thumb is pointing that it's shiny, and that means when I was at that point that I was at the proper angle to hold this flap disc against the blade. So you want to pay attention as you go and make your strokes back and forth to make sure that you get in a good even polish or a good even sharpen as you go down the blade, and that you're not changing the factory edge that's on the blade. You want to strive to make sure that the entire cutting edge from beginning to end looks shiny just like that. It's something that takes practice, so don't be afraid to, go at this a couple different times, nice and slow. You'll see that I go slow, and then I check the blade to make sure that I'm at the right angle. And then once I feel like I've got it, you can pretty well just lock your arm in place and go down the blade. You can use your finger to feel how sharp the blade is. You can also test with cutting a piece of paper, which we'll do later. And once you feel like you're at a good spot, you can go ahead and take a look at the edge you've created, make sure that it looks good. In order to make sure your blade is balanced and isn't going to cause any harmful vibration, you can go ahead and just hang it up on a wall, on a bolt in your wall, or a nail or something like that, or they even make blade balancing tools. Make sure that one end is not heavier than the other. We can go ahead and check and make sure we're cutting at least paper here, and then you'll just go ahead and reinstall your blade the same way that you took it off. Making sure that you have the blade on the correct direction. You don't flip the blade upside down when you reinstall it. Make sure that you hand thread that bolt back in before you get it with the impact gun. And then just a few zips of that impact gun and you're all set. You have successfully sharpened your lawnmower blade. You can go ahead and set your mower down, get it set back up the way you like it, and don't forget to plug that spark plug wire back in. So I hope this has been helpful for you guys, and I hope it had a couple tips along the way to help make this a more comfortable process for you.